Hey, welcome to Wellness Farm Chat. I'm Brooke, your host, and here we'll be chatting about all things homesteading, farming, and wellness. If you are new to this lifestyle or are looking for simple and easy steps to begin your wellness journey, you are in the right place. Hello and welcome to Wellness Farm Chat. I'm Brooke, your host, and today I'm going to be sharing 5 things you probably don't know about me. I felt like this episode is called for because I am just starting to do my video versions of the podcast. And I thought there's no better way than sharing a little bit about myself. So I'm going to go over 5 things. And the first one is I'm a first generational farmer. I, as a child, dreamed of having chickens, being on the back of a horse. I had this vision in my head throughout my whole childhood of what my life was going to look like. And I wasn't born into a family that was interested in the farming life. And that's okay. That's the way it goes. My children probably, I'm going to have a few that aren't interested in this way of living as well. So it's just life, but it's always been on my heart. And I am so grateful that I met a man who is so persistent in allowing me to follow with my dreams. Even if I go through a rough patch or I have some setbacks, he's very good at encouraging me to fail forward. And I wouldn't be here without him encouraging me to do more things because I have so many things I want to do. And this is one of them, recording and doing podcasting and sharing this journey. I love sharing it. I love talking about the struggles I faced and how I've overcome them. And I love sharing how I'm trying new things and how it goes for me. So, my marriage is really what kicked off this whole homesteading and wellness movement. If it wasn't for Brandon, I don't think I would have ever been able to do it. And at the beginning of our marriage, I made it very clear that I wanted to have chickens. I wanted a German Shepherd. I wanted horses. I wanted to I wanted to ride off in the sunset on the back of a horse. Haven't done it yet, but my day will come. I got distracted with the dairy cow. So now I had to get the dairy cow. I didn't know I wanted a dairy cow and probably until 3 or 4 years ago. So that happened. And now I have to wait a little bit more for the horses. But yes, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. He would not have been interested in purchasing a farm. He would not have been interested in probably all this land. And yeah, so it's all, a lot of it is for him, goes to him. The thanks goes to him. There's been a few times I wanted to throw in the towel. If you look back in previous episodes, I was talking about my chicken issue. I had some predator issues with our chickens. We weren't getting any eggs. We've been here for a year, and that was really disheartening because my dream for doing all this is to share and bring eggs with me to play dates and to I don't know, whenever I go somewhere, I just want to be that person that, oh, I have a dozen eggs for you. I have some flowers. And it just seems so beautiful and simplistic. And I want to do it. And when my chickens stopped laying for a year, I was like, I'm a failure. Maybe God doesn't want me to do this. But Brandon, he did some work to our chicken coop. We changed a few things and boom, I got 11 eggs today. First time since we've been here, I've gotten 11 eggs. And that it just lit that spark in me again. I am ready. So number 2, something you probably don't know about me if you're new to the show, is I'm not making sourdough anymore. So I started my sourdough journey 2.5 years ago, almost 3. And it is just not working out for me right now. I was doing it when I moved here, when I was pregnant, and then I realized it was time to call it quits. So I decided, tuck it away in the back of my fridge, and I forgot about it. I completely forgot about it. I let it die, and I wasn't too sad about it. I thought, oh, I got a break now. And then I started learning a little bit more about the carnivore diet and learning about what I should really be eating while I'm, third trimester and postpartum. So I decided to cut out all carbs and most sugar. Well, processed sugar for sure, but a lot of sweeteners and like not sweeteners, just fruit, a lot of sweet stuff. And I had a gasless baby for the first time in my life. He slept through the night. He was not screaming at me all the time. He would only cry when he got hurt or was hungry, which is so normal. And he would stop once those needs were met or he was comforted. And it kind of, a light bulb went off for me. So I still buy sourdough bagels, and I often, not lately, I buy a sourdough loaf, authentic organic sourdough loaf that's made daily at a local bakery. They're not even open 7 days a week. I think they're only open up about 5 days a week, and that is what I buy. I buy the quality bread, the quality sourdough, and I don't really eat it either. My husband does, my kids do sometimes, but you know what? I noticed they behave better with less bread. I don't know. I do use a specialty flour that's does not have folic acid added to it, so I'm really cautious about that. And yeah, I there's a little bit of a relief from that because I was really into the sourdough game for almost like 3 years straight. And it was nice to take a break. I was dedicated. I did good. I did some really great loaves. I tasted amazing. I did a lot of bad ones. But yeah, it was like, okay, I mastered it. I did it. And then I learned I probably shouldn't be eating it so much because it's kind of addicting because I don't know. Yeah. I found it very like, gotta do my sourdough, gotta do my stretch and folds. So yeah, it's nice to not have to worry about that anymore. And now I'm focusing on a lot of different things. And I can grab a loaf of sourdough bread down the road from my house, or not really down the road, but in town. And also I have sourdough bagels delivered to my door weekly if I want to. So, and I do get a bag every week from my husband and the kids if we have some soup or something like that. And no guilt there. I do not feel guilty. I have no shame. I just, yeah, I feel good about it. Next is I'm an extrovert. So I know people who know me probably are aware of this. I am extroverted. I love being social. I love talking. I love meeting new people, making friends. I have listened to a few new episodes or podcasts of some new friends that I've made, and they're introverts. And I can't imagine introverts, doing a podcast because I feel like you have to be very extroverted and kind of go out on a limb to share things. And I don't know. It's sometimes hard for me thinking that people who know me are going to see this or listen and have their own opinions and thoughts and maybe even look at me differently. And yeah, so I'm very extroverted. I do sometimes get in my head sometimes, but I'm overcoming that because I love what I'm doing. I feel like this is something I'm called to do, and I have a lot of peace about it, and I'm very motivated and excited. And every couple months, I learn something new, probably every month, and I'm growing. Number 4 is, sorry, I have to look at my notes. I can't see it. Oh, yes. I do not have a vegetable garden right now. So at my old place, I had a greenhouse. I had a beautiful large garden. And then I had some raised beds. I had my strawberry and my blueberry patch. I had some fruit trees, some huckleberries. I was on a roll. I had a lot of things going for me there. And I put a lot of effort into my gardens. I had so much fun. I learned so much. And then I moved kind of unexpectedly. We didn't think this was going to happen. It was a sudden move. Some friends of ours told us that their neighbors were listing and they would like to purchase their house privately. And I asked a few questions, definitely wasn't in our budget, but I was like, let's go see it anyways. So, me Went there, fell in love immediately because it was originally a horse farm. It was a horse property. And the owner of the house really loved my husband. He was, well, one of the owners. There was a married couple, and he fell in love with my husband and was like, if I want anyone to live in this house, it's got to be you. And we got it. So they helped. I think the negotiating of the price, was affected by his likability to Brandon, or he liked Brandon, so he, I think, lowered the price a little bit. So that was a blessing. And here I am with a lot more property and a lot more plans that are a little bit bigger. So instead of doing a garden, we decided to do fencing for a cow, because now I have the space, I have the acreage, I have the property. So now I'm thinking about milking equipment. I got my cow AI'd. She's due to calve with her first baby in May. And it's a wild, wild ride. And last but not least, number 5 is okay, this one might be a little sad for some of you, or maybe you'll feel a sense of relatability to this. So I don't have a lot of friends who homestead or have a farm. I know people, I buy things off people, but I will say most of my friends right now who are living how I'm living are all on Instagram. So it's the people, like maybe you are one of them. It's the people that I'm connecting with online. And I'm actually making some really great connections on there. And I find it really cool because at first when you hear about it, you're like, that's so weird. You never see them. They live across, the country. But I mean, I have people that I will actually talk to about success and failures more willingly to them than I do in person, because the people who I have relationships in person don't understand or don't know. And it's hard to relate to people when they don't really know what you're going through. So when there's a loss on your farm, or you're struggling to get an animal pregnant, or you have predator issues, it's really great to have community and live amongst each other, which is another reason why I love this podcast so much, because I am growing my community. I am reaching more people and building more relationships. And yeah, it's a great place. So those are 5 things that now you know, and I hope that this can maybe make a new friend. You can reach out to me on Instagram, DM me, and let me know your thoughts. If there's anything else you want to know about me that I missed or I don't personally think is important, but you might want to know, share. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. And if there's any questions or things you want to know about me, or you want me to talk on, even like topics you're interested in, I would love to know. So maybe I have some insight or some failures. I do share a lot of failures on this podcast, a lot of failing forward. And yeah, so if you want to know more, check that out and message me for more connection. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye. Thanks so much for joining me today. Please follow and subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you could leave a quick review, that would mean so much to me. It is the only way I can truly know who is listening to this podcast and how you're benefiting from the show. See you next week.